Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It is September 13th, 2019. This is episode 7 of the Sin Bin Hockey Podcast. I'm pleased to be here. Today we have a packed show. This just in, Marner signs a contract. We're also going to talk about other teams, Malkin dissing Kessel, and plenty more RFAs that signed. I'm here with my co-host Jake Link, and we're going to have a great show coming up on the Sin Bin Hockey Podcast.
After a long week cashing, you're just in the mood for crashing. Go get that 2-minute minor for slashing and come on down to the Sin Bin, your number one location for hockey information. With Matt.
I saw a fucking Chinese kid review a toy that looks like a dildo, and he gets $10 million over it.
And Jake.
It's just what you do at your time. Some people do mediocre podcasts, and some people fucking shit on football fields.
So lock your wife in the closet, grab a room temperature beer, put your hand halfway down your boxer briefs, and blast your stereo for the greatest hockey show! This is the Sin Bin. Take it away, Matt.
Hello, hockey fans. So like I said, my name is Matt, and this is my co-host Jake, and we're going to take tonight, Friday, September 13th, we're going to take the time to talk a little bit about hockey and whatever's going on in the world of hockey. Now, first of all, I just wanted to thank all of my fans out there. It's been a great week. You know, we streamed the rookie camp. We had our season opener for the Montreal Canadiens. And if any of you are bleeding over onto this video and you're listening, we're going to have a good time and we're going to talk a lot about hockey. We got the whole Mitch Marner thing, right? I would have called my video that, but it dropped so recently that I didn't have time to change it. We also got, like I said, Malkin and Kessel. We got a lot of other story. But first, let me just introduce my co-host, the legendary Jake the Snake, Jake Link. How are you, buddy?
Jake the Snake Link. I like you. You're like a dad. Like we're going to like a fair where you really don't want to go to. It's like we're gonna have a fun time, and you're gonna like it, and you better fucking listen.
Oh yeah, we're gonna fucking talk.
So help me God.
Yeah. I forgot to say too.
Yeah, don't make me turn this podcast around, damn you.
Yeah. As you guys see, well, Jake, you can't see, but I am holding in my hands. This isn't Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. This is actually Austin Matthews on the cover of NHL 20. I have played the game. It was the only one remaining in Walmart. It was the only one remaining. The Walmart is closer than the GameStop, so I ended up going to Walmart. The only one remaining. I played it. I checked out all of the game modes. It's a piece of shit. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit more. But first, I really wanted to open with the whole Mitch Marner situation. Because like I said, we were sitting down, we're trying to come up with show notes, and we said, hey, why not review the new NHL game? I'm sure there's a lot of video game fans. You know, I'm sure, obviously, a lot of NHL fans. Let's do that. And right when I post it, we get huge news. Mitch Marner has signed a deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It is $6 million. It's an average annual value of $10.8 million. Now, what are my thoughts? Well, first of all, I made a reaction video. You can find it on my channel. I released it about an hour and a half ago. And that has a lot of my thoughts. But if I were to reiterate what I think, if I were to reiterate some of my thoughts, I think that Marner wanted a replica of the Matthews deal. He wanted the same term, 5 years. He wanted the same dollars, which is what, 11.5 or 11, in the whereabouts of 11. Okay? He didn't get that. He got 6 years.
Yep.
He got 6 years and he got 10.8, which some might say, hey, it's not that different. It's not the end of the world. But Matthews, I'm sure he's looking at it and he might be a little bit salty. He might still be saying, look, I think I'm better than Matthews in any way. I got more points than him. I've stayed relatively more healthy than him. I deserve his type of contract. But in the end of the day, he had to swallow some of that pride. He had to, sacrifice some of those dollars in order to get signed, because I think that one thing that both the Marner camp and the Toronto Maple Leafs management had in common is that they both wanted to start the season. They wanted Marner to go to training camp, etc. They did not want a Nylander situation all over again where he goes plays in Switzerland or whatever. So that's what I think. I want to add that 3 players on the same squad getting paid 10 plus million, I don't think that's a good model to succeed. And I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, Jake, you can elaborate, but I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to make a separate video. But I want to hear my co-host's thoughts, because in case you guys haven't seen the other episodes, we actually made this show, the Sinbin podcast, we made it a Mitch Marner free safe space, whatever you want to call it. It was a Mitch Marner free zone because both of us, we were just sick of talking about it. And last week there was rumors of a contract. I didn't bring it up because I couldn't take it anymore. Jake couldn't take it anymore. We're kind of forced to talk about it now.
Yeah, and I hope this is the last time that we're talking about him, unless he's doing something insane. If he has like a 6-point game or something like that. But $10.8 million a season he's making.
Yep.
Now he might possibly be the whole entire overrated conversation just because of who he plays with and the line that he plays on.
Yeah.
So he got overpaid, and he better save every single dollar.
And I didn't realize this.
You know what?
I didn't.
If he does not pan out, he's not going to see that money again.
Yeah. And dude, I didn't realize this until I listened to TSN. Do you know how much Marner? What's his face? Kucherov. Do you know? First of all, do we both agree Kucherov's the better player?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Like Kucherov's an MVP. If it were Game 7, double overtime, I would rather have Kucherov on the ice. He took a lower contract than Marner. Kucherov gets paid 9.5. Okay? So I don't think it's a really good contract. I think I was a little too easy on my initial video, but you know what? You know who's looking at this right now and is just salivating at the mouth? Mikko Rantanen. Because by all means, they're both wingers. They both got similar amount of points. I think, I might be wrong, but I think Rantanen may have gotten a little bit more, or at least in the same vicinity of points. And Rantanen doesn't have his contract yet. So he's looking at this and he's saying, hey, listen, I'm the same player as Marner. I want the same money. And some might say that, hey, look, Rantanen plays with McDavid. But again, you can make the same argument about Marner playing with Tavares. But that's that. I don't think we're going to go much more on that because our show today is packed. Let me turn to the chat. Levi Ackerman is there. He says NHL 20 is good. We'll get to that a little bit later. I'm recognizing a few names, Joe and David. They were there during my Canadians live stream. So glad to see you guys there. I hope you guys can stick around and fire away in the live chat. Two really good guys. I appreciated their questions. Talking Hab says, hi, Matt and Jake. So that's pretty much that. I don't want to go much more. Every time I hear the name Marner, I kind of get nauseous. And I don't know.
When I saw that you messaged me that he signed, I literally did an eye roll because I know that we were gonna use air to talk about this guy another fucking week. Yeah. And we had to. Yeah. I mean, but Rantanen is probably gonna get. He's probably gonna get more.
Yep.
And wait till next year. You might be seeing deals for like 13, 14 million for players.
It's insane, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
And Rantanen, for me, I think he's the better player than Marner. I don't think he's as skilled, but just like that size and that size on the wing combined with the speed, combined with the skill. Oh my God, I love Mikko Rantanen. Admittedly, I'm higher. Like, there's this YouTuber. Have you ever heard of him? His name is Gravite.
No.
He made a video saying why he thinks Rantanen is overrated. and he pretty much got obliterated in the comments. But his comments made his arguments made sense. Like, he put up stats. I can't argue with that. But when I look at Rantanen, man, I love that player. He's kind of there was rumblings of Puljujarvi in Montreal, and I know I have a lot of Montreal's listener. Someone commented on one of my Puljujarvi's videos saying, hey, what type of player is Puljujarvi? What type of player can he develop into? And I always said, had he developed properly, aka not on the Edmonton Oilers, he would have turned out to be a Rantanen type of player. Just that big player who can combine speed. And oftentimes these big players, they're slow as shit. But holy crap, no. But that's what I could see Puljujarvi being had he developed properly. But the jury's not out. He's still pretty young. But we'll see where that goes. But for now, we're going to move on to our next story. And it involves 2 Penguins. One of them's a former Penguins. Yeah. Phil Kessel. Oh, hold up. They can't hear you. Phil Kessel, according to The Athletic, Malkin made the ultimatum after the Russian forward had one of the worst seasons of his to-be Hall of Fame career. Malkin had come to believe Kessel was content with 2 titles and mostly interested in statistics. That reads the story. Malkin was worried he'd be seen the same way if Kessel remained his winger. Multiple sources say Malkin requested a trade if Kessel was to return. Malkin denies that, but it doesn't mean he wanted to play another game, let alone another season with Kessel as his line mate. So, I cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off, but they can't hear you when the image is up. But basically, the story, what's happening is that Malkin, who Kessel played as his winger, he basically went to management. He said, listen, I am not going to play another game unless Kessel is gone. And this, again, is reportedly, Malkin is obviously going to deny it. I think that since it's The Athletic, it's a very reliable source, so I'm going to take it as fact. So, Jake, I cut you off. What do you think about this whole debacle happening in Pittsburgh?
Well, I'm just making a quick joke. You said 2 of the players who are Penguins, and I said one of them looks like a penguin. He does. Kessel could be the mascot and play for him.
Oh, I thought you were. I think Malkin looks more like the penguin, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, Kessel has that body shape. You know?
Okay, yeah. But go ahead.
I mean, I just that's just so ridiculous. Like everyone thinks Crosby runs everything. Crosby, and then you hear Malkin practically chased him to the fucking desert, Yeah.
Now, Joe says, I'm telling you, the Leafs are going to finish exactly where they left off last year and the year before that. Adding JT and finished exactly where they finished last year, beaten by Boston in the first round. Levi says the problem with overpaying players is that you're going to deal with cap issues every offseason. Hence, the team's lineup will change every season. So there are some point of views.
That's definitely. I mean, but sometimes with giving those contracts to players like that, you're trying to go for it, and you're going to be in cap hell. Every team's going to go through cap hell at one point or another. Where you have to kind of cut some salaries and let go of some talent just because you can't hold on to them. But that's what keeps balance in the NHL, so to say.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's probably one of the harder sports to win back-to-back titles.
Oh yeah. But I think what I think about this, and again, I wanted to leave this for a separate video, but 3 players at $11 million, they eat up so much space at the salary cap that you don't have any more space to sign. For example, Pittsburgh, who we're talking about right now. Crosby, he took a salary cut. He did. And I know different era, it's different percentages, the cap was lower, but he could have made more money than he did, and he took a cut. Malkin took a cut. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to stay competitive. They didn't want to eat up too much of the salary space so that they can't sign a Kessel or a Hornquist or give a contract to Letang. So they thought of the team before they thought of themselves, and they said, I am going to take a cut. You look at those whiny bitches in Toronto. They are thinking of themselves. They are saying, I want the highest value. I don't care. Whatever it is, I want the highest value. And Marner's looking at the Matthews deal, and he says, I want Matthews money. I don't care. All three of those players don't care about the team. They don't. They cared about the money value. Had they cared about the team, Matthews would have signed a $9 million contract. Tavares would have signed for $10 million. And, Marner would have signed for about $9 million. But no, they care about themselves. They care about the money value. And this is why the Toronto Maple Leafs won't win a cup for the next 5 years. Those spoiled bitches. I mean, look what they're doing in Tampa. Don't you think Stamkos could have made more money? He could have.
Stamkos' deal was all incentive. It's all incentive. Yeah. He only has a $1 million base. Everything else is incentive.
Kucherov's deal, he makes less money. He took a cut. And by all means, Kucherov is the better player right now. He's going to be the better player for years to come. He is better in every way than Mitch Marner. And he's getting paid less. I know that it's Tampa. I know there's no, taxes and whatnot. But come on. At some point, these three guys, one of them being this guy, fucking Austin Matthews, looking like Beavis and Butthead. They have to look at each other in the mirror and they have to say, do we want to make money? Or do we want to win the cup? Because I know money, and this is millions of dollars we're dealing with. It's a lot of money. But if you win the cup, especially in Toronto, you guys are going to be revered. You guys are going to be hailed as kings for the rest of your lives. And with all of the deals you can make after the cup, you're probably going to end up making more money. But because you were selfish, three guys making $33 million, how are you going to get a depth defenseman? How are you going to get some depth scoring?
Yeah, all of your offense is going to come from two lines.
Yeah.
You're going to have no defenseman, you're going to have no goalie. You're going to be a bad team with in cap hell.
It's by all means the best word to describe this is selfish. They are three. Yep. And hey, look, McDavid's the best player in the world. He gets paid $12.5 million. He took a salary cut. McDavid could have easily made league maximum. He took a salary cut because he wanted his team to be successful, to be competitive. And how can they be competitive if they don't have extra money to sign good players?
He wants them to be successful.
Yeah. Wait, who, Toronto?
No, I'm just saying, just because he plays for Edmonton. How's that working out for you?
Oh, my God, yeah. Poor guy.
He reminds me, in baseball, of Mike Trout. Mike Trout's the greatest player in the game right now, but could never, ever get into playoffs because he plays on such a horrible team.
Yep. Yeah. But speaking, again, the Pittsburgh situation, Crosby taking a cut, Malkin taking a cut. Had they got paid league maximum at the time, they wouldn't have had the space to get a Phil Kessel. And Phil Kessel was instrumental to those 2 Stanley Cups that they won. In my opinion, I think that first year he should have won the Conn Smythe. But Crosby, he's Crosby in the media. We all know how they love Crosby. But that's what I think. Sports King says, is Toronto over the cap right now? That's a good question. I didn't check it out, but if they are over the cap, it's not the end of the world because they can always send players down to the minors and down to the AHL.
Sports King's huffing paint too because he says Toronto making it to the Eastern Finals this year to be knocked out by Tampa Bay.
I mean, it's not impossible, but I'm gonna stick to Habit, and Habit says that they're gonna get knocked out in the first round by the Boston Bruins. Which, oh my God, would that be funny? Holy crap, would that be funny? Wow.
Sweep.
Yeah.
No, they've lost some games epically to them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. Joe says, beside their cap, another big problem for Toronto is that they don't have a reliable defensive-minded defenseman. Tyson Barrie is not the guy to save them. One of the worst D-men defensively. And that's a good point. They don't have any good defensive. I know last year there was a lot of rumblings for the Canadians trade Shea Weber to the Toronto Maple Leafs to get that defensive defenseman. Those got shut down after a few weeks. But yeah, Tyson Barrie, really good defenseman. I like him. He's not the best defensively. Jake Gardner, I know he's not with the team anymore. He wasn't the best defensively. Morgan Riley, very good defenseman. Again, he's not going to be the best defensively. Okay? So they're not a defensive-minded team. They're all on offense. No. How are you going to succeed on offense when you have 3 guys? 3 guys. And remember, Kyle Dumbass, he caved in and gave Nylander that $7 million contract when the whole hockey world was watching, scratching their forehead saying, what the fuck are you doing? Giving $7 million to a guy who plays like shit in his own end, who had a horrible year, had to change his number because it was bad karma for him, and then got cornrows. Let me just say it. White people should not get cornrows. It looks weird. Did you see that photo?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, William Nylander. No, yeah, you know what? I don't like to get racial and all of that, but blonde, white Swedish people should not get cornrows. It looks weird. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, God. I need to get off the subject.
Now, can you have cornrows?
Can I have cornrows? I don't know. I don't think I would pull it off.
Like you being Middle Eastern, are you allowed to have cornrows? Could you pull it off?
Yeah. I could not. But since I'm Middle Eastern,
you look white. You look white. I'll say it right now. You look like a white dude.
Oh yeah. Okay. Does this look white? You can't see it, but it's my hairy chest. I'm like a fucking Chewbacca.
Okay, you could be like, dude. You look like you could be Italian. Like if I saw you on the streets, I'd be like, oh yeah, you don't look Arab.
Yeah. Well, that's because I'm from the part of the Middle East where they're actually pretty white and pretty pale. Like my mom looked, she looked Swedish.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, your mom. Like I saw the pictures of her. She was like blonde hair, blue eyes, and
yeah,
like that must have been really weird. Like And I've seen your dad. Your dad has like the darker Middle Eastern features.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the part where she's from, the Syria, they're not as dark as we think. They're not like the Allahu Akbar, la 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 la, those type of turbans. We're kind of paler. We're kind of whiter, more fair skinned. And
are you the hot topic of Syria?
Sports King saying, remember when they were up 4-0 against Boston in Game 7 and lost? Levi Eichmann says, dumbass really shot himself on the foot. Joe says, that's their problem. Anderson doesn't have any actual help in front of him. It's defense and goaltending that wins championships in hockey. And oh my God, speaking of Anderson, this guy is a wonderful goalie. I mean, he faces shots.
Yeah, no, he is.
If you look at the stats, the high-end opportunities he has to face, and he's playing in front of a porous defense. If he played in front of a reasonable defense, say, what's a team that has like a decent defense but isn't like over the top?
It's Vegas.
Vegas.
Let's go Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. If he played in front of a Vegas defense, he would look Hall of Famer quality. But he doesn't. He faces a lot of shots. He faces too many games. He ends up getting tired by the time playoffs comes. And that's pretty much it. Speaking of Vegas, they faced off against the San Jose Sharks in the playoffs. And the Sharks have recently named their captain. It's Logan Kuchner. He is the new captain for the Sharks. Obviously, Joel Pavelski left. He's going to leave a big gap, not only on the score sheet, but in the locker room. Joel Pavelski, one of the greatest guys in the NHL. But Kuchar is here to take over the role, and his assistant captains are going to be...
Is it Kuchar or is it Couture? Because I've been saying Logan Couture for a very long time.
Oh, you're probably right. Don't ask me when it comes to names. I'm horrible.
I'm like, oh shit! I'm on a hockey podcast. I claim to know nothing about anything.
Oh, dude,
just not hockey related. Life. 34 years of just kind of bullshitting my way through everything.
Yeah, dude, I was talking hockey to one of my friends in our fantasy league. We were talking about hockey. I accidentally called Kucherov Kucher, Logan Kucher. And he's like, whoa, since when does he play on the Lightning? I'm like, what are you talking about? And turns out I was mixing up Kucherov with Kucher. Couture.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
No, it's like I still say Jonathan Toes, but as a joke, but sometimes I say it like seriously, like, like, oh, Jonathan Toes.
Yeah. Arim says it's Couture. So Couture, his assistant captains are going to be Joe Thornton, Brent Burns, Tomas Hertl, and Eric Carlson. They will serve as assistant captains. Happy for the kid. He's a great player. Probably one of the most underrated players in all of the NHL. And I could tell you right off, from what I hear, he loves being a San Jose Shark. He loves that city. He loves that team. He's a great choice for the captain. Listen, if you look at his past playoffs, you look at the way he played. I mean, had they not been eliminated, he was the Conn Smythe winner easy. I mean, he led that team on his back. He was easily the Conn Smythe winner before they went down against the St. Louis Blues. But that's all I have to say. Anything else, Jake?
No, hey, good for him.
Good for him.
And they're kind of my pick to win the cup.
The Sharks? I'm just
gonna start picking. Yeah. I think I said it. We'll do something in the middle of the season where we'll see where everyone's at and go, this will be the team. Hey,
but speaking of Sharks, and turn your vibrator off. Speaking of Sharks, he may have not gotten the captaincy, but he got a spot on ESPN's Body Issue. Shield your eyes, folks. Evander Kane is on ESPN's Nude Body Issue. Look at those man buns. Holy shit. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words. I wish I looked like that physically. The minute I take my clothes off, like I'm so soft, everything kind of just hits the floor.
We're gonna do the sin bin Body Issue.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I'm gonna take my mic and I'm gonna put it in front. Big and black.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, would you tell the folks what type of guest you're trying to get on the show? Do you want to tell them or not?
You're
trying to work to get a guest on the show?
The God Hates Fags lady?
Oh, no, not that one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Jake put out an advertisement on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Complete opposite. I did.
Literally the opposite. Go ahead, explain it.
Okay. So, what I'm looking for, we are looking for somebody, a gay gentleman, perhaps. So, we want a gay guy's point of view on what certain hockey players and their looks, what they look like. We're going to show some of the more, I guess, traditionally handsome players like your Lundqvist and Patrick Kane and
Cody Eakin.
We just want them to, mm-hmm. And we're just gonna kind of we wanna pick their brain
Dustin
and
Byfuglien.
See what they have to say. Dustin Byfuglien.
Go ahead.
And then we also want to show them some of the more funny-looking players, like a Patrick Laine, I guess Tuukka Rask.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Jake and I, throughout the years, one thing that we love doing, we love talking. And listen, we're not gay. We're not homosexual. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I always have to say that in today's culture. There's nothing wrong with being gay. But we found that throughout the years, we like talking about how hockey players look for some reason, whether it be PK Subban, whether it be Patrick Laine. We love to talk about how they look. So we thought, why don't we have a beauty pageant and have all of the players, and you know how they would rank fantasy players, like for fantasy pools? We would rank them for beauty pageant pools. And instead of us ranking them, we would have an expert, perhaps a homosexual or perhaps a woman, but there aren't many women who listen to my channel, so I think it's easier to get a homosexual. So That's for the future. In the future plans, the Sin Bin beauty pageant that will be coming up. But for now, we're gonna move along on the stories. And where should we go?
I did put out on Facebook. I said to all my gay friends, I have a favor to ask for you. In parentheses, no, not that.
Yeah.
It involves coming up my hockey show, the Simbin. PM me if interested. I need you to review looks of hockey players and critique them just based on their looks. And one of my friends tagged another one of my friends and said, James DiBenedetto would be perfect for this.
Yep.
He says, and then somebody else said Max Bummel. I was hoping it was that. I'm out.
The Bummel.
And somebody, yeah. And then somebody said, Jake Link might be available.
Oh, that's actually a good segue because this guy a few years ago, he was rated the best looking hockey player in all of the NHL, and he just signed a brand spanking new deal with the Carolina Hurricanes. Yes, Jacob Gardner. Look at those baby blue eyes, man. What an actor. What an actor. He signed a new deal with the Carolina Hurricanes, and I got the contract, the details right here of the contract. So, they have signed Jake Gardner to a 4-year, $16.2 million contract with an average annual value of $4.05 million. So about 4 years, $4 million. Now, you Canadians fans out there, because I know there's a lot of Canadians fans listening right now, Jake Gardner actually turned down a 3-year, $15.75 contract from the Montreal Canadiens back in early July. This is according to La Presse's Alexander Pratt. So, Mr. Gardner, with all due respect, go fuck yourself. This just goes to show Montreal isn't the place of destination for free agents. And listen, I'm happy because I didn't want Gardner. I think he's too much of a liability on defense. I think that with his back injuries, some of those, you're never the same player after some of those injuries. But what if it actually was a good player and he turns down that contract? I make it sound like he's a bad player. I didn't mean to do that. But what if it was a player I wanted to turn down that contract? I wish the league would do something to kind of adjust for the taxes, the provincial taxes, or the state taxes, because it's really not fair. Why do those fuckheads in Tampa Bay, they don't get taxes. They get to sign for like barely any money. And in order to get those same players to sign in Montreal, we have to offer them 1.5 times the same salary. It's not fair. And I hope that Bettman, he looks at himself in the mirror and he says, we got to change something. Because teams like Toronto, teams like Montreal, teams like, I guess California, I'm not too sure about the U.S., they will constantly get screwed when it comes to this. We just
New
saw
York, California. You would think like but you know what? It can't be anything because teams in Florida would be winning championships left and right in every sport.
Yep.
If that was the case.
Yep. Joe says Jake Gardner, good looking. I don't know. He's not ugly, but he's not handsome either, in my opinion. Well, this is why the beauty pageant would be a great idea. And if we could have an expert to rate the hockey players and make somewhat of a ranking until we find who's the best looking hockey player.
It's all opinion, but we want like cartoon gay.
Yeah.
Like we want you to be fucking just let it all out. Just we don't want you to go, hey, but we kind of want you to just kind of like. I have a story. Years and years and years ago.
You were gay?
This ties into the whole thing. Years and years ago, I had a friend. She was bi, and I supported the whole entire LBGTQY2K community thing.
The Y2K NHL 20 PS4.
Yeah, yep, that whole community. And then so they had like a poker tournament, and I was like, oh, this would be great. I could frickin' win a poker tournament, and I'm not on a Pride weekend, and I'm not even gay. This is gonna be awesome. So I went, and I didn't win. I got to the final table, and but somebody was handing out this card to be a member of the gay poker tour.
Yeah.
And Buster Keaton said, in order to be funny, you have to live funny.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I took the card and I signed up for it. I went on the computer, signed up. They would ask all the questions. I remember one of the questions was, because they also ordered pizza and stuff. So one of the questions was, what pizza topping do you like? And I was like, pepperoni, parentheses, I'm not gay. After every question they asked.
Yeah.
So then I saw that they had a house game coming up, and I was like, yeah, it's like, I think I'm gonna go, and it's like, yeah, come by, it'll be great. And I told her, I was like, yeah, so obviously they know I'm straight. And it was such a weird thing. Like, okay, when you go into like your single friends' houses and like, apartments and stuff,
Yeah.
you see like posters of like girls on top of cars and stuff like that. Well, it's like that in the gay guy's house, but they have like shirtless dudes.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, stuff like that. But the best part was it was during the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this was going to be my end. This is where I can talk about sports. And it came to me that they watch sports like professional men's sports a lot differently than we do.
They look at the players like their faces more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, America tied Italy. And that was a big thing because Italy actually ended up winning the World Cup that year. And they were talking about, it's like, oh, yeah, it was a good game. I was like, yeah, that's big. America tied Italy. Now, it's tradition at the end of a soccer game to exchange the jerseys. So they take off their jerseys and they give it to the. So they were talking about it. He goes, oh my God. The guy said, oh my God, at the end of the game, when they were exchanging jerseys, I was just looking, going, God bless America. And I was like, I wasn't thinking that, it's just like you and I watch the same thing, but have completely different thoughts. Like to him, it's just literally 22 guys, porn, but they just so happen to be wearing shorts.
Yeah,
and it was definitely an experience.
So I gotta ask you, if you were a gay guy, if you, this is gonna sound wrong, but if you put yourself in the skin of a gay guy, which hockey player, because it's a hockey show, which hockey player would you look at and just think, God bless America?
God bless. Oh, Canada.
Because I gotta admit, a big Canadians fan, I look at Max Domi and I just think, God damn, that guy has nice eyebrows. I mean, whatever contract he's going to get, $8 million, $1 million that's going to go in the bank to his eyebrows. Because, wow, those things, they are high maintenance, and those are some really nice eyebrows.
You get a triple minor if you slash him in the face and cut an eyebrow. 6-minute penalty.
Well, his dad, Ty Domi, he got punched in the eyebrows, and he used to have these really thick things. And he got punched and got so much scarring tissues. He shaved them into these little, like, lines over his eyes. It looks ridiculous. If you go back into the old Ty Domi videos, he used to have these huge caterpillars. And now he looks like a tranny's eyebrows. It's really weird. Let's see in the comments. UMG Sicko says, hello, Matt and Jake, and the stream. Hello, UMG Sicko. Joe says, well, Garner said he didn't want the pressure. I can understand that. Not everybody can benefit from playing under that pressure. I guess he just didn't want all the weight on his shoulders. That's a good point. And that's something I didn't take into account. Because I basically shat on Jake Gardner and explained how he didn't want to come to Montreal. Maybe he wanted to escape the limelight. Because, let's face it, he went through 2 playoff series of pure hell. I mean, not this year, but the year before that. It was Game 7. He got a -5. one of the biggest games you're ever going to play potentially, and you got a -5. And a lot of people are blaming him for the loss. I don't agree with that. You should never blame one player for a loss in a team sport. But the year after that, they go into Game 7, the same exact team. Jake Gardner's playing, and I remember thinking, like, there's no way he's going to have a bad game. He's going to bounce back. He's going to bounce back from last year. And lo and behold, he had another bad game. So those are 2 years in a row, and the Maple Leafs fans, they are ruthless. They massacred this guy. So I understand why he wants to go away from the limelight, and he wants somewhere quiet and where he's not in the limelight. And which better place than Carolina, where 7 fans show up to the game, and it's probably not for hockey. It's just to see the Disney on Ice celebrations afterwards. So, hey, what better place? Except that, know that when you sign that contract, you have to dance on the ice and tiptoe through the tulips or whatever you need to do after games, which I think that's like a clause in the contract that you have to check or something. But I see you biting your nails. I'm making you angry. Bobby Crypto.
It's fucking hockey. We've already gone over this.
Yeah. Bobby Crypto says, how about Henrik Lundqvist? Oh, Henrik Lundqvist. He's dreamy. He is fucking dreamy. Yeah. I wonder what if...
Wait. Why don't we just fucking do this? I know it would be funny with a gang, but if we can't find one, we should just do it.
Well, we'll do it at the same time. We'll do it at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna give him. We're gonna find somebody, get him in the chat. We're gonna show him a bunch of pictures of players, and we're gonna have him just that. It'll be the whole show.
Yep, for sure.
The whole show.
Yeah, and I think it'd get a lot of clicks. I really do. I really do. But for now, we're going to move on to our next story.
You know what we're going to name the show? I Go Oi for Hockey Boys.
One player I can't wait to know his opinion about. This guy. Hold up.
Opinions on Marner.
Opinions on Marner?
Dude, go to the big...
Oh, no, he's probably... he just came in... He's asking about the contract. I don't think his looks. Yeah, so Lambros, we were just rating how good looking the players are. We're talking about our favorite players in terms of their looks. So when you said opinions on Marner, I know you're talking about the contracts, but I'm going to talk to you about his looks. He's a pretty good looking guy. He kind of looks like a toddler. He needs to, grow into his body, I guess. Get a few hairs on his chest. Maybe I can lend him some. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, hey, my opinions on Marner, Lambros, buddy. If you want to check out my channel, he says my bad. No problem. If you want to check out my channel, I just made a video about it. And I'll probably make another one about it in the future. So, hey, that's that. I was just going to talk about... Clayton Keller, because I know this is kind of old news, but we didn't have a show. I did my, I'm all over the place. I did my Montreal Canadiens season preview. So I missed this, but I really wanted to talk about it because the Arizona Coyotes, they agreed to terms with Clayton Keller on an 8-year, $57.2 million contract with an AAV of $7.15 million. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I love Clayton Keller. That was the year, if you guys remember, Canadiens fan, that was the year that we drafted Sergachev. And similarly to this year, how I had my fingers crossed that Caulfield would drop to the Canadiens, the Sergachev year, 2016, I was crossing my fingers, hoping that Clayton Keller would drop to the Canadiens. Unfortunately, the Arizona Coyotes took him. But what I'm getting at is that I love this player. His creativity, he's kind of like a Patrick Kane light. And the reason why I bring him up is that I think he's going to have a great bounce back year this year. Playing with Phil Kessel, that's going to help his points total a lot. But also, in a world where players like Marner are getting paid $11 million, in the year where Matthews, they're getting paid $11 million, and by all means, they're not the same player, but $7.15 million for Clayton Keller, I mean, that's a great deal. And if there's any Coyotes fans listening, by any chance, by a miracle of chance, I mean, Clayton Keller at 7.15, that's a great deal. And I hope that when Domi comes for a contract, they're going to consult that number rather than the Matthews or the Marner number, which I don't think they will.
Yeah.
But that's a really, really good number. 7.15 million. I like it a lot.
Definitely.
Yep, definitely. Jake echoes my sentiments. Joe says, fun fact, not really. Ryan Suzuki had a total of 5 points this past weekend. Kind of sucks because I actually wanted us to draft him. More than happy with Caulfield, though. Bobby Crypto says, Caulfield will be a huge star. Very happy to have him. And yeah, I know that Ryan Suzuki, he had a great, I think there was a game he scored like 1 goal and 4 assists. I mean, he had a great rookie camp. Let me say this. Caulfield is the better pick. Caulfield is the better pick. I mean, if you just look at the junior career, I don't think that Ryan is going to even be as good as Nick, let alone Cole Caulfield. But I think he's a good player. If the Canadians were picking, they were picking 15, say they were picking 25th or 20th, then I would have said, yeah, let's go with Ryan Suzuki. But at the place they were at, I mean, going for Ryan Suzuki would have been a little bit of a stretch. I don't think he's as skilled as Nick. I think that Nick is going to be a really, really good player to come. I think that Ryan is also going to be a really good player, but just not as good as Nick. So, yeah, that's what I had to say about that. Moving on. We're just going right through here. Let's see. I'm going to get you involved, Jake. Because we got Pavel Zacha. Yep, Pavel Zacha. So this is an interesting story. So he signed a 3-year, $6.75 million contract with an AAV of $2.25 million. But what makes this situation really interesting is that Ray Shero came out, I believe, a day before, and he said, and I quote, and block your ears if there's children in the room, I don't give a fuck if he signs with the KHL or if he signs with fucking Brampton. I don't give a fuck where. We hold his rights. So he comes up and says that, and a day later, he signs him. So kind of a funny story. Imagine if Mark Bergevin came out and says, hey, I don't give a fuck where Kotkaniemi signs. He can sign whatever the fuck he wants. And then a day later, he signs
That's just the Jersey way, baby.
It's just the Jersey way.
the Jersey way.
Now, why don't you tell me, because I'm not familiar. If I'm not mistaken, he was a high draft pick, or at least in the first round. What do you think about this?
He's a fourth-line center now.
He is?
He's a fourth-line center. The Devils have tons of depth at center. So I was kind of fine with him not even being on the team, you know. It kind of, you know, he's a big-bodied player. He did go. He was a first-round player. Showed some promise in the beginning of his rookie season, but just hasn't been the same. I'm not a huge Zacha fan. I'm really not. I kind of wish that they just kind of let him walk and give somebody else a chance.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Oh, my God. So he got drafted 6th overall.
Yeah.
That's incredibly. And that was the 2015 draft, which is a really good draft. He was drafted between Noah Hanifin and Ivan Provorov. And he was drafted... Oh, man, I don't mean to rub this in your face. He was drafted ahead of the likes of Timo Meier, Mikko Rantanen, Jake DeBrust, Matthew Barzal, Thomas Chabot, Brock Besser. Oof. Yeah, maybe not the best draft for the Devils there.
And you know what, though? He actually had some, like you know, there was, like, kind of like, you know, that there was some issues, like personal issues.
Yeah.
Like I think it was more or less his work ethic.
Yeah.
When he but that was.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was a deep draft, and I think they kind of missed it.
Well, first of all, he has trouble staying healthy. I mean,
that too.
His first year, he played 70 games, then 69, then 61 this past year. And he's never scored more than 25 points. I mean, the good news is that he's still pretty young, 22 years old. He still has time to turn it around. But his time is running out, though. Because looks like he's going to plateau there at 30 points-ish. But that's that. Let's see. We talked about how Zacha was drafted right ahead of Provorov. Well, turns out Provorov actually signed a new contract. And I got the details. The Philadelphia Flyers have re-signed defenseman Ivan Provorov to a 6-year, $40.5 million contract with an AAV of $6.75 million. So there you go, Provorov. Now, he didn't have the best campaign 2 years ago. Sorry, he didn't have the best campaign this past year. 2 years ago, he was great. And for those of you who are fantasy fans, I can't fucking speak. Hold on. For those of you who are fantasy fans, 2 years ago, Provorov was a fantasy darling. He really was. The hits he got, the points he got. And this past year, I'm like, watch out, guys. He might be, maybe not nominated, but he's going to be in the discussion for the Norris. And he kind of had a lackluster year. So, but that being said, I definitely think, we're talking about Zacha, how his time is running out. I definitely think this player is going to have a bounce back year. And $6.75 million, it's not super high. It's not super low. I think that good defensemen in this league don't grow on trees. So I think in the end of the day, the physicality he brings, the offense he brings, I think that Provorov is a great, great, great signing. Turning over to the chat here, UMG Sicko says, Max Domi seems like the kind of guy to take a team-friendly deal. He loves playing in Montreal, being a star player, and he seems humble enough of a person to not want a crazy amount of money. Joe says, I had a thought today, given that he hasn't lived up to the expectations and we already have his brother. What if we tried to acquire Hayden Flurry from Carolina? I thought it would be cool. So let me start by answering UMG Sickos. What you're saying about Domi, I completely agree, but I don't want to comment on it until the time comes because I can't get into Domi's head by any means. I don't have that incredible power. So I don't know if he's willing to take a team-friendly deal. Only time will tell, and we'll see what happens. As for Hayden Flurry, the player, he was drafted high. He had the potential, Hayden Flurry. I think that his window, it's kind of closed at this point, and that going to get him is kind of going to be a waste of a trade, in my opinion. I could see where having his brother on the team could be motivation and they could work together. But, I don't think that he's all of a sudden going to come to Montreal and switch it on. But on the other hand, his brother, Cale, it's a completely different story. Things are only looking up for him. And I love Cale Fleury. He might make the team this year, and I can't wait to see it. You know what, guys? This year, I'm going to try to do game reviews, and I'm going to try to find a way to do live streams and have it be an interactive experience without me posting the games because I don't want my channel to be taken down. So I won't be able to stream the games, but I'm going to find a way for you guys to be able to watch it with me at the same time, whether it be putting a link.
We're gonna actually reenact the games.
Yes, we're gonna reenact games.
We're gonna get a bunch of NHL reenactors.
Yeah. Hey, well, if I'm pretending to be Jonathan Drouin, I won't have to do much because he takes a lot of nights off.
I'm gonna pretend to be Carey Price, and I'm just gonna sit with a cast on.
And I'm gonna pretend to be Chris Kreider, and I'm gonna hit you really hard. Oof, too soon. Let's see. We talked a little bit about him. Let's see what other stories I have. Josh Morrissey, speaking of defensemen. And you know what? A lot of RFAs are starting to sign. To sign. And I think with this Marner deal that they're going to sign furthermore, right? This is going to open the floodgates. But we got another one. Josh Morrissey, playing for the Winnipeg Jets there. He got a nice contract. And they re-signed him to an 8-year, $50 million contract worth an AAV of $6.25 million. Eerily similar to the Provorov deal. Eerily similar. They both in the same, almost the same amount of year. One is 8, one is 6, but almost the same amount of dollars. If I were a GM, I would personally take Provorov. I think he has the higher upside. But that being said, if you're a Jets fan, this is a good deal. If you're the GM, this is a good deal. I mean, we all talk about it. New age defense, new age NHL. You got to know how to skate. Josh Morrissey knows how to skate, and he was one of the better players on the World Junior Championship for Team Canada. Anything to say about that, Jake?
No.
Yeah. All right. So, let's do our last story before we get into the NHL 20.
I actually just want after this one. I just have one more story. I didn't see it in her notes.
Oh.
So I just kind of about Shea Theodore.
Okay. Actually, why don't you just go ahead and say it right now?
Oh yeah, I was just getting up the story. Shea Theodore during the.
And by the way, sorry to cut you. This story isn't getting a lot of attention, I find.
No.
So go ahead.
No, definitely isn't. Shea Theodore was actually treated for testicular cancer, and during the off season for the past 3 months, and we're just finding out now. Yeah, he was Theodore. He's successful, Kings. Blah blah blah. I mean, the Knights. 2 years. Blah blah blah. He joined Team Canada, the World Championships. Once Vegas was bounced from the playoffs, and a lot. He was welcome.
Is he in remission, or is he?
That's what I'm looking at now.
Okay.
They actually cause of a. They found this. They found this actually, of a failed drug test that he took.
Oh my God!
And the hormone HCG, which is commonly found in pregnant women. Now, I actually heard that some guy was actually peeing on a pregnancy test one time, and they actually thought like it was coming up positive, and they thought it was funny, and then it turned out that it was
Yeah, testicular cancer. Yeah, so
testicular cancer.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, I'm trying to look.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look to see if he will be back.
Well, while you look that up, let me say, obviously, we wish the best to him, himself, his family, going through it. We wish him the best strength. I mean, obviously, I'm no doctor, but you just got to think athletes, the way their bodies are and their health. You got to think it's easier to.
I forgot that Kessel went through this.
Kessel went through it, and you know what?
Yeah.
I want to do some research because you know how we all make Kessel fat jokes and we say how he looks greasy and how he has acne?
He could have low testosterone.
Yep, absolutely. I feel that removing his balls, because didn't they remove his testicles?
I don't know if they removed all of them, like there's just a gaggle of testicles. They might. There's a song when I first heard about the story. There's a song that comes in my head. It's the Tom Green song. The "Hey kids, feel your balls so you don't get cancer."
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he has all of his balls or if they removed one. But before it happened, he was lean. He had clear skin, and after his cancer, something must have happened on a hormonal level, because that's when everyone started making the fat jokes. And I was here saying, whoa, I'm sure the cancer had something to do with it, because it's fucking around with your testosterone. I mean, it's got to. Joe says he beat it. He's cancer-free at the moment. So that's good. And forgetting about, he was one of their best up-and-coming defensemen, Shea Theodore. He's a good player for the Knights. So that would have been a big loss. But we wish the best for his health. We wish the best for him.
Yes.
He had stated previously, Joe, that Winnipeg has a massive problem right now. Oh, the voice crack. Bufflin.
Were you about to say Bufflin, but you balked?
Yeah.
Matt is just 8 chickens in a people costume.
Yeah, shit. I feel like my balls just dropped. Joe says Winnipeg has a massive problem right now. Bufflin is out. They lost Myers, Chariot, and Trumba. Do you guys think they can still be a playoff team this year? Oh my God,
No.
this is a Joe. This is a great question, and the reason why it's a great question, if you looked at the beginning of last year, first of all, any one of us, either Jake or I, ask any of the NHL experts, ask anyone and their mothers, they would have said that the Winnipeg Jets aren't just a threat in the Western Conference; they're a threat to win the Stanley Cup.
They were gonna, almost every single hockey expert, the hockey news, everybody picked them last year to win the cup.
Yeah, and this year, the losses that you hit it, the losses that you named, Bufflin, he's out on a personal leave. I'm not sure what's happening there. Probably some personal things in his family. They lost Myers, Chariot, and Trouba. I mean, those are 4 core guys on their defense. 4! That is huge. That's like if the Canadians lost Weber, Petrie, let's go Kulak, and let's go Mete. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And
sorry, Snow Queen. You won't be seeing a cup come to Winnipeg.
yeah, I'm sorry, Snow Queen, but forget about winning the cup now. Right now, the way that I look at it, it's going to be a challenge.
A lottery team.
It is. It's going to be a challenge. They might be a wild card spot. Yeah.
No, they might be a lottery team, especially Laine hasn't signed yet.
Laine hasn't signed. Oh my God, there's a page on Facebook called NHL Memes, and
Yes.
I was in bed looking at my phone, which is probably horrible to do, but I was looking at my phone. They put up a post. Did you see it?
No.
They put up a post that the Canadians, they got Laine and Connor in exchange for Suzuki and a first rounder and Tatar. And like my heart stopped. And then I looked in the comments and everyone was like, this is bullshit. And wow, imagine that would have been something. If you're a Canadians fan, that would have been something, getting Laine and Connor. And then my friend messaged me and he's like, whoa, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's a fake. But anyway, I would like to see, I wish I could go in a time machine and just fast forward to see what happens to Laine, because I am really, really, really interested.
Dude, there's I'm sure every single person who is a fan of a team has seen some scenario where they wind up on his team. I saw something where the Devils were going to give 3 first-round picks for him.
And
Everybody is seeing. Everybody thinks that Laine is going to come to their team, and I wouldn't want him for that much. I'd maybe do next year's first and a 3, but
Well, if that trade, say it was an actual trade, Laine and Connor for Nick Suzuki, Tatar in a first, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. I'm doing it in a heartbeat, but that's not even fair. That's the type of trade that you do on NHL PlayStation, which we're going to get to later. But if it were Laine in exchange for Suzuki and a first, I think I would do it. I think I would pull the trigger on that, because I know that he's not that great a player, Patrick Laine, and I know that he's lazy, and I know that he's whiny, and I know that he has a Fortnite addiction. But just that upside to score 40 to 50 goals, how could you not want that on your team? But then again, you guys, you can't see it, but I'm getting a gray hair here, and here. I got 3 gray hairs. I attribute 2 of those gray hairs to Jonathan Drouin. And, Patrick Laine, he's a Jonathan Drouin part 2. And that's why this whole debacle with Laine, it's kind of, in some senses, more complicated than Marner's situation. Because Marner had a great year. It's basically a situation of pay me. But Laine, on the other hand, he had a horrible year. So he wants the money. The team doesn't want to give it to him because he didn't have that great a year. So it's kind of a complicated situation. It really is. UMG Sicko says, 4 guys on defense, plus Connor and Laine haven't signed yet. That could change now that Marner has signed. Yep, that could.
That's true.
I could see them going into camp. Like, Laine has signed with the Finnish team. And I know he's not on the Jets, but Rantanen signed with their Finnish teams. It's a possibility they go into camp and they're not going to show up for their teams and they're going to go play in Finland. I mean, that's a possibility. So imagine missing 4 guys on defense. And it's not like schlubs either. These are 4 core guys on defense. And plus Laine and maybe Connor. I think that the Connor deal is going to happen sooner or later. Because, I don't know. I think that whatever money he's asking for, he deserves it. It's not the same case for Laine. He wants $10 million. He doesn't deserve that money.
Do you see Bobby Crypto?
Go ahead, say it.
I would do it. Yeah, Druin for Laine? Yeah.
Yep.
I'd do it.
Druin, dude, like, I would do it. Every Canadian fans in their right mind would do it. The only person who wouldn't do it is Kevin Cheveldayoff, GM of the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, if it's Druin for Laine, abso-freaking-lutely. I don't think that's enough. I think if Kevin Cheveldayoff proposes that as a trade, he's not doing his job correctly. Because when you look at it, they're the same type of player, but like Laine is a notch above Druin. He's just a notch above. Glenn S. says, just got in here. What the heck is Winnipeg going to do? Connor is ways in a more complete player in some ways. I'd concentrate on Connor. And that's, again, a really good point. Some players, they might look, or some teams, I should say, they might look at Laine, and he's like the sexier name, by all means. He has the higher upside. I don't think anyone would argue that. They might want to trade to get Laine. But it's a good thing that it's true what Glenn is saying here. Connor, you know what you're going to get with him. He's going to be consistent. He's not like Laine, who's inconsistent. Connor's consistent. He's skilled. He has better hands. Some teams might go after Connor. You know, kind of the dark horse here. I hear you yawning. You must be getting tired, Jake.
No. I'm not yawning.
Oh.
I was playing with something in my hand.
Oh, well, just talking about it, I made myself yawn. Joe says, I know he... fuck my voice. God fucking damn it, I sound like a fucking pubescent boy.
Matt's going through puberty.
Joe says, I know he gets a lot of hate, but I'm a huge Druin fan. I mean, my username is a tribute to his nickname, LOL. But I can understand why he gets hate. Gotta work on his defensive play. Yeah, like seriously, I love Druin too. But sometimes I look at him play on the ice. He plays like a dick cheese on skates. I mean, sometimes he's just not there. He's a piece of cheese. His porous defense, his holes in his game, just like Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese.
But you know what?
He puts like cheese on ice.
Yeah, that was back in the draft of McKinnon, the 2013 draft. And if you guys recall, he played on the same team as McKinnon, the Halifax Mooseheads. I wonder how much Nathan McKinnon had to do with Jonathan Druin getting picked 3rd overall. I really do. And I don't know, because I didn't watch Junior. I still don't really watch Junior that much, but I didn't watch the Halifax Mooseheads. So I don't know. I'm starting to look at Jonathan Druin and where his career is progressing, and I'm starting to think like, maybe Nathan McKinnon had something to do with him going 3rd overall. Maybe not. I don't know. Why don't we get... Go ahead, Jake. You want to do your bit?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh.
No, I don't have a bit.
Okay, I saw the fucking redheaded...
I just have a puppet. What, you don't remember this puppet?
Yeah, I remember the puppet. It's a sad guy puppet, or whatever it's called.
Sad NHL puppet.
Sad NHL puppet. Well,
Yeah.
prepare to get sad, because we are going to talk about the one, the only, the moment you've all been waiting for, NHL 20. This is the new video game. It's been released.
A waste of $60.
Oh yeah, fuck. It was released today. Again, I got the last copy that was available because I wanted to play it and I wanted to review it for you guys. As you guys can tell by the top, I have a PS4. I wanted to review it for you guys. And this thing, I sometimes hockey fans, we don't like hearing about other teams and whatnot. But this is one topic, the video game, that us fans can bond on and all talk about. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys out there, you're the same demographic as me. You play video games and you play the NHL video games. So I'm going to give a quick review here. Now, it's a piece of shit. This game is a waste of $60. Listen to me. I know a lot of people might like it, but when I go to see the games, and it goes from 19 to 20, and eventually 20 to 21, I want to see how many things they changed, okay? And I think the worst was going from 14 to 15. There was barely any changes. And going from 15 to 16, and I think like from 17 to 18, there was kind of a big leap. 18 was good. But going from 19 to 20, this one, there are barely any changes, to say the truth. And my favorite game mode, it's a controversial because I don't hear a lot of people who play it. It's the Be a Pro game mode. I love it. I love making my own player. I love, making him look like me with the chubby cheeks and whatnot. I love making my own player. They barely did anything to it. And by barely, they didn't do anything at all. It's the same exact game mode from NHL 19. It's the same exact things. They didn't add anything. They didn't make it more interesting. If you look at the NBA games, there's like a whole storyline. And there's a story, and you make your own players, and, you can buy your own shoes and whatnot. And I know that the NHL is different. It's skates and whatever. But why can't they incorporate some of that? It seems that with EA, all of their time and all of their research goes into the online modes, the Ultimate Team. And I love the Ultimate Team, but hey, at some point, why can't they focus? Why can't they focus on the Be a Pro mode? That's one thing that kind of annoyed me. The good things about the game is some of the motions of the players, some of the animations, I should say. They're a little bit more realistic. They're a little bit more fluent. And one aspect in general, or two, I should say, the shooting. Shooting in this game is drastically better. I mean, the players take a shot, and, cover boy Austin Matthews, when you play as him, he'll sometimes do his signature toe drag shot. And so they kind of replicated players their own shooting style. So that's one thing cool. That's good. Goalies, Jake is a goalie. Some of their animations are better, more realistic. There's new animations for the goalie, and it's no longer where like they get a shot and they'll give a rebound right to the player and it's an easy tap in. No, like the rebound control is much better. But as far as positives, that's pretty much where it goes. I have some other negatives. I want to throw over to Jake because I talked a little bit about this with Jake, and he had some gripes, and one thing in particular.
Yeah. So they have a new. I didn't get the game yet, but I was hearing some rumblings online about the Alumni Teams. I was like, let me go check this out. So I went on YouTube. I looked up, and they have players that are there are certain players on certain alumni teams that should be there that aren't. For Boston, Bobby Orr is not on the elite teams. Bobby fucking Orr, that right there. Dominic Hasek is not on the Buffalo. He's not on the Detroit. He's not even on Chicago or fucking Ottawa. He's not even in the game.
Yeah.
And the two that got me the most was Scott Stevens, not even a part of the New Jersey Devils alumni team.
And imagine hitting as him in the game. Like, that would have been cool. Yeah. Yeah. And the other one you're going to say, let me just
Martin Brodeur. They have Chris Terreri and Glenn Chico Resch. Glenn Chico Resch looks like fucking Gomez Adams. He's their he's the color guy for on the radio for the Devils. He's great. I love Chico. Chico's great. Chico and Doc, like that team when they were together, they were very good. Chico's just a very charismatic Gomez Adams looking chubby guy, and he used to play goalie for the Islanders and the Devils, but they have him, and they don't even have Ken Danico on the alumni team. Tom Barrasso, who should be on the alumni team. There's probably a few other players to know. You know, they obviously have Gretzky and Gordie Howe, and so they have. It's like they have old time players. So like the fact that they don't have Bobby Orr is just insane. And they don't even have Maurice. They don't even have Maurice Rocket Richard. They have like Henry Richard for the Canadians.
Yeah, actually, I think Henry Richard has the record for the most Stanley Cups. If I'm not, believe it or not, I think he actually has more than Maurice. Let me just do a quick search. But yeah, dude, no Martin Brodeur. Like, if you ask me who is the best goalie for the Devils all time, it's easy, Brodeur. And they put what's their names? Chico Adams and Molesky?
No. See, Chris Terreri, who actually used to start. He was the starter before Brodeur came in, and also Chico Resch, who played for them in the '80s, who is now but he looks like Gomez Adams.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Henry won 11 Stanley Cups. Jean Beliveau won 17 Stanley Cups. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And Maurice Richard won. Let's see here. Fuck, I can't find it. Ah, shit. But that just goes to show, by the way, while I'm looking for it. I was arguing with a friend who's a diehard Patriots fan, and I don't like the Patriots at all. He was saying Tom Brady is the greatest athlete in any sport, football, hockey, whatever it may be. He's the greatest athlete that's ever going to be. And I'm like, whoa. I know nothing about football, first of all. But I'm having trouble to believe that he's better than Wayne Gretzky. Because Wayne Gretzky, you look at his stats, no one's ever
Wayne Gretzky's
ever going to beat him.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting for second.
Yeah, and he said, well, Brady is the best because, and by the way, Richard won 8 Stanley Cups. So I'm sure it's a fact that gets overlooked sometimes. Henry won more cups than Maurice, because I know Maurice is probably, I don't want to do blasphemy, Canadians blasphemy, but I think it's consensus that Maurice was the better player. He's, the Rocket.
You know what I didn't like in this? The alumni, like, I get, like, it's the best players, but you shouldn't have duplicated players.
Oh, you mean on different teams?
Yeah, you shouldn't have Gretzky be on 3 different teams. You shouldn't have, you should have him just be on that team. I didn't like that. I don't know why. Call me crazy. Like Trevor Kidd is
it's
like
weird.
On like the. Yeah, like I don't know. Is what Trevor Kidd versus Trevor Kidd?
Well, like you said, you said Gretzky's on like 4 different teams.
Yeah.
So is he the same overall on every team?
I think so. I think.
Like, well, that's ridiculous.
You'd have to take a look at that. I couldn't really see the overall.
Yeah.
On one of them, I think on the St. Louis, they had him on the 4th line, like defaulted.
Holy shit. Because his overall in St. Louis can't be the same as in Edmonton. And,
or even on the Kings.
Yeah, so that's stupid. And if they had different overalls, it's still stupid. Because why would I pick the 78 Gretzky when I can pick the 99 Gretzky?
Here's another thing that I didn't like was for Florida, they didn't have Luongo for their goalie. They had Corey Schwab.
Schwab?
Corey fucking Schwab was their goalie. And I'm like, okay, you could have went
it sounds like a medical test.
Yeah. I gotta get my Corey Schwab. Corey Schwab used to be the backup goalie for the Devils. But I'm like, okay, you could have went John Van Beesbrook. You could have went, Roberto Luongo. You could have went so many different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way,
Billy Smith, Glenn S. Billy Smith is in the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Billy Smith.
And Joe, I guess that's why. That better be the only reason, because this is like insane.
Yeah.
You could have put Yager on every team, but they just have him on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You could have easily made a point to put Yager on the Rangers.
Yeah, I used to play in a hockey league, and it's this league you paid a fee, and you would play, and it was a bunch of guys. So was the same guys. And one day, we didn't have a goalie. There was only one goalie. We needed another one. And we had the equipment, and we were arguing because no one wanted to be the goalie. So finally, this guy called Pierre, he stood up. He's like, okay, fuck this, guys. I'm going to go in goals. So he goes in the room. He puts on his equipment. It took him like 15 minutes because he's never been in goals before. We're all waiting to play the game. And then he comes in the arena, and he comes on in his goalie equipment, and he just goes, "I'm motherfucking Billy Smith," and goes and nets. So that's how I know Billy Smith.
It's funny, like playing goalie, like in house leagues, like I never even had to pay. Like I would just get all these phone calls. We need a goalie. We need a goalie. We need a goalie. Yeah. And it was like I kind of made my living just filling in for teams. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, oh my God, I miss it so much because now that I'm in the States, there's no hockey like there is in Quebec. You can't find a league. No one plays indoor hockey, or at least not that I've heard of. So I've just gained weight and I've been piling on the pounds. And I'm not talking about Suzuki paling pounds here, that it's like pure muscle. This is all spaghetti ramen noodle pounds. And yeah, I miss it. I miss it a lot. And goalie, that's the one position that, at least in my circle, people don't want to be goalies. So we would always run out. And like a defenseman had to end up playing goalies. And there's this Facebook page called SOS Gardien. And that's like a emergency if you need an emergency goalie to come play with you. But that's pretty much it. But back to the NHL though. And we talked about the alumni. It's not like you can unlock them later on. I think the ones that are there to start, that's the ones that are there forever. So it's not like later on you can unlock Brodeur. I don't think so. Anyway, I don't like the cover. And not just because there's a Maple Leafs there. And let me just say, I'm a Canadiens fan, okay? And I have nothing against putting up original 6 teams. But when's the last time a Canadiens player was on the cover? I had to watch fucking Bruins. With Bergeron, I had to watch the Leafs. These are jerseys that make my eyes burn. When is there going to be a Canadiens player?
Well, there was a Predator last year.
Yeah, but he wasn't with the Canadiens, so it wasn't as cool. There was a Predator, Subban.
Yeah.
And the Subban, we were talking about the covers too. Hey, what is this? What's this smile? Look at this. Look how he's looking at Jake. I have it set up that he's staring at you. Like if I'm walking late at night and I see that face and I see Auston Matthews giving me that face, I'm not getting an autograph. I'm running for the hills. That is some scary. And oh, by the way, I actually made a game cover review when they first announced the cover athlete, and I had to delete the video because I made a joke I didn't really like. And I streamed it live, and I made a joke that I wasn't really clever too. I compared this cover to a huge tragedy in American history, and it wasn't a good joke. But anyway, it's a horrible cover, and if you look at it...
Trump becoming president?
No. I actually would have voted for Trump, even though I'm Canadian. I would have voted.
Was it what happened 18 years ago when a bunch of people did some things?
18 years ago?
You didn't hear about somebody, no, 9/11.
Oh no. No, no.
You're Canadian. You can make 9/11 jokes.
You want me to tell you, but let me just say I'm really not proud of it. Actually,
dude.
no. I'm not gonna.
I don't care. Dude,
I'm not gonna.
I live like within a stone's throw away of New York City. I know people that were affected. I'm not gonna get upset with you one iota.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say it because I'm scared I have some Jewish people in the audience. But I compared the cover to a horrible tragedy in the history of the world, and I'm not fucking proud of it, and that's why I deleted the video. I'm not proud of that joke, and I deleted the whole video. And
you know, what'd be funny? A bunch of Jews in the trains are like, "Oh, we gotta go to this concentration camp," and then they see the cover of NHL 20, and like, well, at least we don't have to look at that.
Oh my god, my brother had a film class. Let me fix your webcam frame. Oh my god. My brother had a film class, and they had an assignment. They had to write a script for a movie. They didn't actually have to film the movie, or although they could, it was optional, but they just had to write a script. It was a screenwriting class. And my brother, this idiot, and let me just say, in Quebec, they're overall pretty PC. They're pretty, like, very PC.
SJWs.
Very SJWs. That's how it is in Quebec. Do you know what my brother's script was? He made this fictional story of Hitler and how he was bullied as a kid. And he was bullied by a bunch of Jews. And that's how he grew to... The first scene, it's Hitler on his bed playing Nintendo DS, even though there's no Nintendos. It's Hitler on his bed playing Nintendo DS, and like a bunch of Jews come and start hitting him and mocking him. And then he's like, "I'll never forget this moment," or something like that. And he gave it to his teacher, and the teacher read it, and he's like, "You know what? This is pretty bold. I like it."
Okay, I actually have a similar story when I was like in 4th grade. Yeah. So we got done watching the Diary of Anne Frank and reading it. So my teacher, her name was Miss Rubinson.
Yeah.
So she was her name could have been Jewy McJewface. You know, that's how Jewish she was. Like,
wait, pause.
Everything.
Pause. Talking Hab says I'm Jewish, so tread easy. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, so I love this teacher.
You were saying Jewy McJew.
I was saying Jewy McJewface. This is gonna be the clip that gets played for when I don't get on SNL.
Go ahead.
So I'm like, okay, so we got done. I acknowledge, like, wow, this is pretty fucked up what happened. And so but my teacher, for whatever fucking reason, this is the 90s, so she said, I want all of you to write as if you were stuck in an attic and like a diary passage, like how the Diary of Anne Frank. So I said, okay. So I get in there, I say, yeah. I started going on and on. I said, we were very hungry. We're starting to think wood is chocolate. And we're trying to eat the wood, thinking that it's chocolate. That's how hungry we are. And then I was just like, we could barely keep energy, blah, blah, blah. I started going. She goes, I get pulled off to the side. She goes, Jacob, come with me.
No,
she goes, do you mind rewriting this?
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
why? What's wrong with it? She goes, the part where you said, where you said, where you said they're eating wood and thinking it's chocolate. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
oh, and I'm like, at that point, I'm like, I didn't really think of it, and I'm like, but now, like that, I tell this story,
Yeah.
it's like, holy shit, that was fucking fucked up what I did.
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, talking halves. We're done. We're done
Yeah,
with
we're
that.
done. We're done. With nothing against the religion. They're cool.
No,
But
no, no problem. No
yeah.
problem at all.
No problem with the
Yeah,
religion. Jesus was part Jewish, wasn't he? Or
it was all Jewish.
he was all Jewish. He says, I'm actually serious. Not really cool. You're young though, so I'll forgive you. That's not fair. I shit on Arabs all the freaking time. Why is it okay for them and it's not okay for... I shit on everyone equally. That's not cool.
Yes.
No. I said I'm Arabic. I made fun of how hairy we are and how I went to Syria and everyone thought I was sick because I was so pale.
Do you realize I gave Matt half his nicknames was Mecca Matt, Matty Isis. He's the Arabian Prince of Hockey.
Yeah.
My favorite line to this day that I said to you in the roast was, Matt is proof that when a jihad is done, that not all the virgins will be women.
Exactly. Hey, I got roast. And on this channel, on this show, Jake roasts me. It's all in good fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all in good fun.
Yeah. I said during the roast that his suicide, when he heard Suicide Squad was coming out, he thought it was a family reunion.
Yeah, and
So
yeah. And there's some, listen, people think I'm Jewish all the time. People think I'm
yeah.
Jewish. And I usually don't correct them because I don't really care. I don't care. Like, for me, that religion, the people I get along with that, I don't mind being called Jewish. There's some religions, they'll call me, they'll say, hey, are you X? That I won't mention. I'll say, oh, whoa, no, I'm not that. I don't correct them for Jewish. So that's one thing. It's not
like, do people like accuse you of religions?
Yeah.
That seems like a little. I've never been accused of. Are you Protestant? No
Well,
one's
not
ever
accused,
came up-
but they think that I'm always something else. Like, I get called Mexican. I get called, what did you call me today? Italian?
Italian, yeah.
Like, Jake knows for a fact what I am, and he still called me an Italian.
Yeah.
I get...
No, I said you look Italian. I know you're not Italian. I'm just saying you look Italian.
I mean, I guess my face is racially confusing, so I get called whatever it is. But yeah, it's only like
That should be if you ever have a stand-up special, it should be called Racially Confusing. If you go into the southern states, they'd be like, I know I should hate you, but I don't know what for.
Yeah.
Go back to where you came from. Canada?
Yeah.
Is that where y'all look like up there?
Glenn just wrote my favorite comment of the day. He says, Jesus somewhat Jewish. Oh man. Bobby Crypto.
Get on. Go back to wherever you came from, boy. I don't know. Or did you take a carpet here? Did you jump a wall? I don't know how you got here.
Yeah. Bobby Crypto says, I'm French Canadian and we get laughed at. I laughed with them. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, French. Yeah. I thought Talking Half says, I'm not mad or anything. No worries. No, we're not mad. We're having fun. He says I'm an atheist now anyways. But seriously, the Holocaust isn't a good subject to talk about. And I knew it. And that's why I deleted the fucking video. Because I knew it.
Then I had to bring it up.
Yeah, I blame Jake on this. Because I had to delete, and no one complained. Oddly enough, I made that joke and people were mad that I was insulting Matthews. They didn't even mind that thing. But I still deleted it because of that, and I didn't do it on purpose. The cover was extremely ugly, and I was trying to compare it to another thing that is extremely ugly and extremely unfortunate, like this cover. And that's the thing that came up to mind. And I was live streaming the video. I didn't like pre-record it. I would have stopped and restarted, but I couldn't. And I posted it. And after I was done, I'm like, I can't put this. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know if it's too soon. It's many years later, but I don't know if like it's, yeah, like I wasn't comfortable. I couldn't put it. And that's why, and Jake asked me. So I blame Jake. I did not want to open this can of worms.
I'll take you open the worms, and I'll take full blame.
Yeah. I love talking.
Send your hate mail to my email, thesinbin1996@gmail.com.
Well, I'm surprised you memorized it. That's really good.
I looked at the fucking screen. Send all the hateful tweets to @thesinbin1996 on Twitter.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know Talking Habs, we had a season preview, Rick and I. Yeah. We had a season preview, so check that out on our channel. Did you check it out, Jake?
I watched some of it.
Like the intro that you were in?
Yeah. So, and there's no mention of me, and I'm done.
Yeah.
No, it's just, like, I watched, like, the first, like, 5-10 minutes, and you're talking about, you're breaking down a team that you're not, like, a huge fan of.
Yeah,
it kind of gets like
Oh no, like dude, I'm joking.
If I did a whole Devils thing, you'd probably like listen to like 5 minutes of it and go, yeah, okay, he got it.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. I wasn't expecting you.
You took control. I like that. I was mostly listening for your just to critique your broadcasting with other people, and you controlled the room, and way to go. I'm actually taking a broadcasting class starting Tuesday.
Yeah. Bobby Crypto says, I thought you were an Italian stallion. Talking Habs says, all's good, boys. No worries. Yeah, that's it. You know what? Did I come off aggressive, Jake? Or was it cool?
No, you're cool.
Okay.
Talking Habs is cool. Talking Habs is older, so like.
Well,
he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not gonna like just like harp on shit, like younger people harp on shit.
Yeah, Talking Habs actually. If I came off aggressive, I wasn't serious. I was kind of doing it for show. But he's a great guy. I kind of had sort of an announcement, but I'm not going to do it because I don't know if it's finalized yet. But Rick and Scotty, the two guys I did the preview with, I mean, I could talk to them, no joke, Jake, like hours. I could talk about them with hours. And I think our chemistry is great. And they are two great guys to talk with about hockey. And I want to do a lot in the future with them. Rick, he's a great guy. He knows his shit. And Scott, they both know their shit more than I do. Like, that's for sure. And, like, subscribe to their channels by all means. Please do. Coast, can you give me an iced tea, please? And, subscribe to their channels by all means. No worries. We're all good. Jake, remind me not to bring up religion ever again on the channel. And
No, I'm not going to remind you. I am not going to remind you.
What do you think? What do you think of the David Chappelle thing?
Oh, his special, which I didn't get the chance to watch the newer one, but the Sticks and Stones, I loved. The whole entire thing about the alphabet people was great.
Oh, but isn't that the newer one?
No, that's the older one, I think. Because he came out with like 2 within the past month.
Which one's the one he got shit for? Is that Sticks and Stones?
Sticks and Stones is what he got shit for.
The one where he has a green hazmat suit or whatever it is.
Yeah. His Chappelle like jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Well, he opens up and he says, "I'm gonna do an impression.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry up, N-word. Finish that Constitution." And then he goes, "I'm gonna do an impression." And then he goes, "Hey, you did this, you did that. Gonna find out what you did wrong."
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it. It was good. I think some jokes landed. I think some didn't. But it was overall pretty good. But that just goes... Talking Hab says it sticks and stones. That just goes to show, though, like, comedy sometimes, it's not for everyone. Because some people, they can listen to Dave Chappelle and they could get offended. Like, let's say, who did he make fun of? Michael Jackson? Or he made fun of the rape.
Yeah, he made fun of the victims, pretty much saying, "You go, well, you know, if you're getting raped by Michael Jackson, you know, where do you go up from there? You know, just you know that thing."
So I could see like rape victims or something looking at that, and they could get really, really offended. And I see where they're coming from, and that's why sometimes comedy isn't for everyone. But like for me, I'm a little hesitant when I say this, but you're the comedian, you're the professional comedian. So would you say that there's no
term loosely?
Would you say that there's no topics that are off limit, or would you say that there's a line?
There's no line. There is. Well, no. Let me take that back. There is a line, but George Carlin put it perfectly. George Carlin said, "A comedian's job is to find out where the line is drawn and deliberately cross it." Yeah. You know, and sometimes, and me as a comic, I have fun playing hopscotch with that line. That line is just like, you know, like I like to go back and forth. I like to be cute and all that, and then go right back into go from being a dick to being lovable, being addicted, and that's kind of what you kind of have to be a lovable villain.
But you as a stand-up comedian, is there any times there's a joke that you won't even go to? Is there subjects you won't talk about?
Me, see, I really don't have that much of a filter, and sometimes it's just knowing your crowd. Like, I did a joke. It was a friend of mine was running an open mic at a Fridays.
Yeah.
TGI Fridays, you know. So you already know that this story. I went and the joke. One of the jokes I opened up with was, so I've been fighting with my wife, and you know, and I just getting tired of fighting with her. So to throw her off, I just called her a faggot. She didn't know how to react. It's just like, if you fight with your wife or girlfriend, just call them a faggot. They don't know how to react to it. It's better than calling them a bitch. And like people, just because I said the word faggot,
yeah,
it's like I may as well have just talked about the Holocaust for 5 minutes.
Really?
You know, like the look.
Who the crowd in the TGIF gave you a look?
Yeah, it was in a bar, so maybe I should have known better, like my crowd, and all that. But like the best part was there was a drunk woman that after I went up, and no clue who this woman was, but she went and grabbed the mic, and she was like, "You fucking kids need to get the stick out of your fucking ass and lighten up a little bit." And she just put the mic down, and you know. I've been at shows where, like, I wouldn't say I offended people. Yeah. I probably did, but like I never got like, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that." You know, he's like, "My brother was," you know, or something like that. So I just I don't know. But like that was probably like the one time where I probably shouldn't. No, there was another time, and actually there is a video on YouTube of this. I did stand up at a play, like it was a playhouse, but it used to be a church. And apparently there was some women, and I did some jokes that were kind of racy and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they liked me too much after I did that, because I was kind of told by a friend of mine that they didn't want me to come back. So, yeah.
Especially if it's in a church.
It used to be a church.
Yeah.
And I even made a joke because it used to be a church, and now it turned into like a playhouse.
Yeah.
And like there was like still a stained glass of Jesus. And I made a joke. I was like, it's like every time I tell a joke, it's gonna be like he's just staring at me, disapproving. And I think I even made it like a no joke. I'm like, well, you guys are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes when you start to bomb, the best thing to do is just kind of go fuck it, and you just kind of just fucking just go with it. And at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you, Glenn S? Yeah, no, I can imagine. I can't imagine it, you know?
Glenn
So-
S, he says that political correctness is ruling and ruining us all. Talking Hab says it was a gay bar. You should have known by the two guys kissing at the door.
It was TGI Frigays.
Or maybe the F standard for something else, but stood.
Thank God it's fags.
Can you imagine? Glenn S said, can you imagine the 70s show All in the Family playing today, in today's time? Yeah. Or was that other one, All of the Family? Not All of the
Family.
No, the other one. The Honeymooners. Like,
Oh, yeah.
every episode he would threaten beating up his wife. Like, what's her name?
But you know, she didn't like, Alice.
Alice.
But you know what? She didn't act scared. She gave it right back to him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, just. By the way, I'm going to promote my friend. He has a podcast about the honeymooners.
A
Called
whole
the Honeymooners
podcast?
Yes.
Holy
Yes.
crap.
My friend Joe Conti, who's the Conti and Kenny show, and he also
The Phil
does
Kessel.
this.
The Phil Kessel guy.
Phil Kessel, yeah, he has the Honeymooners podcast.
Would he get upset if
You
I
are-
put a photo of him so my viewers can see?
No, go right ahead. I don't know if you he wouldn't at all. He's a comp too.
Would I find it on
Yeah, if
Google?
you guys,
Oh, there he is.
Joe Conti.
Okay, I got him. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold
He
up.
kind of looks like Phil. It looks like Phil Kessel when during the NHL All-Star game when he was checking out a girl walking by.
All right, this is Jake's friend. I'm gonna switch the screen so they won't be able to hear you. This is Jake's friend that looks like Phil Kessel. This guy right here. Is it this guy, Jake? Oh, he looks like Phil. He looks like a Italian Phil Kessel. This guy right here. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's him. Yeah, we should get him. We talked about this before, but we should get him on the show and make believe it's Phil Kessel. Oh,
And the
boy.
funny thing is, he hates hockey.
Yeah.
He does not like, because I tried to get in the comment, and he's like, "Oh, fucking hockey! You can't see the fucking puck." You know,
Yeah.
it's like which is a big complaint from a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah. Levi Ackerman says back. What did I miss? Not too much.
It's a lot. Yeah, that's Joe Conti. Yep.
Yeah. Joe Conti.
Yeah, you missed a lot. You definitely missed a lot. It got very anti-Semitic. It got very
I think we went from anti-Semitic to anti-German to anti-Arabs to anti-everyone. And
anti social justice warrior.
Anti-social
So-
justice. Yeah. Glenn S says can't tell he's not eating a hot dog. But on that note, on the note of hot dogs, I guess, this is where we're gonna end it. So thank y'all for joining us in the chat. Talking Habs, Glenn S, Levi Ackerman, Joe, UMG Sicko, and all of you guys that I'm forgetting. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at thesinbin1996. I'd appreciate it. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. More to come in the future. Let's see. Talking Habs says he's got to go. Talking Habs, if you can give me a call right after
Later.
this. Yeah. What's up?
I know what it is. He's afraid that he really offended you,
Me?
and he want to do damage control.
No, it's
Right?
No, it's not just damage control. I wanted to talk to him about something like in the future that our channels a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of that, but yeah.
Sorry. I love the Jews. I love all Jews. Orange Jews.
Oh, shut up.
Apple Jews.
Okay, no, stop. You're making it worse. Okay. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. Make sure to check out Rick's stream tomorrow on Saturday. In case you guys don't know the days of the week. Oh God, I need to go off the air. All right. My name is Matt. This is Jake. Thanks for joining.
Yo.
Keep your stick on the ice, folks.